What is up, fam? What up, everybody? It's Monday. It's fun day. It's another damn day of winning. Hello, I am your host, Smooch Panda, and this is Pandemonium. And I have a special guest tonight. I'd say a new member to the fam, but he's actually been lurking for I guess about 10 months now. But I have Spy the Liar. Spy, let me unmute you. See, I caught it this time. Let me unmute you. And then that way people will actually hear you when you speak. I'm getting better at this. How you doing, Spy?
I'm doing great. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great as well. Been
Are you tired
working.
of winning yet?
I'm not. I'm not.
No,
And
neither am I.
it's been, good God, it's been over 2 years. 2 years of winning. And
Yeah.
it's, you would think you'd get tired of it, but I'm not tired of it. But how about yourself?
No, I'm not. I'm not tired of winning. I'm really excited about what's been happening lately, especially on the Q front. I mean, totally winning with Trump, but it's been an uphill battle. But my focus really has been just on this whole QAnon thing and trying to put that into the dirt. So hopefully, this show and other shows like this can help kind of move that along a little bit.
Absolutely. I mean, if you keep pounding somebody with facts, eventually the people that can wake up will wake up. The folks that can't or won't, we won't touch them. But
Yeah, I've been experiencing that. Actually spent quite a bit of time trying to get through to somebody mentioning things like, hey, what about habeas corpus? What about all these people that are like committing these crimes? Does this matter to you? Do you care about this at all? And it just came back to, you don't understand the breadcrumbs, and you don't understand Q. And I just said, and our time is up. Kind of like I feel a bit like a psychologist from time to time, because you get to the point where you're like, okay, the clock's ticking. I've given you enough of my energy, and you can't hear. So see ya.
exactly. Some people are willfully blind. And when I lose my patience, those are usually the ones that I take my frustration out on and tell them that, you deserve to be fleeced. But I want to start way back, like when you were a twinkle in your
Oh,
dad's
okay.
eye. No, and
What?
address the Canuck in the room. Where are you from?
Oh, okay. Okay. So I'm a Canadian, and I was born in Canada. So no,
Eh,
I'm from the capital city in British Columbia called Victoria, BC. So I grew up on the mean streets of Victoria, BC, and I moved over to Vancouver, and I got into the music industry kind of early on, around 17 years old, and I was doing a lot of Rush, and I busked quite a bit on the streets. And what else can I tell you? I don't know. Is there anything else you like in particular? I came down here in 2004. I got married to an American. We decided, where would you like to live in Canada, or would you like to live in the United States? And it seemed like a no-brainer, because I think right now gas prices are like $7. And to be honest with you, I was thrilled when I got here. I was like, I can't believe how cheap things are. Like, what? You mean I could buy a gun? I could carry a gun around? I don't understand. Freedom? What is this thing you call freedom? So I was a little bit indoctrinated as a Canadian. But it really started to unfold for me. So in 2004, I got to be honest with you, I wasn't interested in becoming a citizen. I never liked the politics in the United States in respect to that. We keep seeing the same thing. You go left, you go right, you go left, you go right, and I've always been sort of a conservative libertarian. I think most people are sort of right in the middle. But yeah, I just 8 years of Bush, 8 years of Trump, and I was like, I have no desire to be a citizen. And then Trump ran, and I remember when he first ran, I was like, this has got to be a joke, right? This is a big joke. He's not serious. But obviously, as it progressed, I got more and more excited, and I was like, man, I think I'm going to become a citizen. So it's like, so I went and I filled out my papers. I knocked on the front door. I said, "Can I come in?" They said, "Okay, come on in." So I went and I sat down on the chair there, and They said, okay, tell us about yourself and where you're going to be living. And, oh, by the way, we don't want you on welfare for the first 10 years and things like this. And I was like, okay, I agree. So I studied and I took my exam and stop complaining. My dog's in the bed complaining behind me. It's very distracting. And I took my exam. You have to answer 6 out of 10 questions, right? And I answered 6 questions. I put my hand on my heart. I made my pledge and I became a citizen November 9th, 2017. So
congratulations.
And I voted. Thank you so much. I voted for the first time in the midterms. Nice. So I'm really looking forward. So I have to make sure that Trump's in good shape.
Nice.
I have to make sure Trump's in good shape.
Well,
so that's a little bit about who I am.
That's the American dream there, for someone that's, from another country to come in and not only become a citizen, but be able to cast a vote and have a voice. I do want to go back. You mentioned that when you got here, it was like, whoa, what is this thing called freedom? Tell us a little bit about what the differences are between Canada and America as far as personal freedoms, if you would.
Well, I guess anybody that's been sort of paying attention now is that they have actual language laws there. So there are certain things you can and cannot say, like there's hate speech laws there. It's just a very restrictive. For me, I found it to be very restrictive.
What's an example although at the time the hate speech?
Well, you can't be critical of anybody. Like I not that I ever would be, but you don't have the right. Like for instance, if anybody that follows Jordan Peterson, they've actually made that a law now. So like if someone wants you to use their pronouns and you refuse to use their pronouns, you could be thrown in jail.
That's insane.
Not literally, you get fined, but if you refuse to pay that fine, you go to jail, right? So in essence, it's the same thing. And also the level of taxation. And people say, oh, it's great because you get free healthcare. Nothing's free. Okay. I just want to put that out there. Nothing is free. When you're paying 18% tax to buy something in a store, okay, when you're paying more than 50%, all right, for your income taxes, that's not freedom anymore. Okay. If you can't open a business, all right, if you try to open a business in Vancouver, if you don't got $1 million, $1.5 million right now, you're not opening a coffee shop in Vancouver. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So you come here,
huh?
You come here though. Well, because it's so difficult with the regulations. It's so difficult to do anything there. Like it's so much worse than here. Trust me. Like if you want to visit there, it's a beautiful place. One thing you will notice is you will get stung at the cash register, but you'll still love it. Yeah. You'll love it. It's beautiful. Like Victoria, BC this time of year is awesome. I can't say enough about the people. They're really decent, friendly, very polite people. We like to be on time. We say a boot.
And you came on this show?
Yeah, I know. What was I thinking?
Right.
I like you, Smooch.
I warned you, though. I do buffer.
You did. You did warn me.
Right. No. Well, hopefully we have none of that going on anymore.
No, I think it'll be fine.
That's so interesting because people, I don't think they really realize the differences between other democracies like Britain and Canada. And Canada is so close to us, and you're telling me that you have to walk around, you have to worry about your hate speech. I guess guns are a no-no as well?
Absolutely. Like you can get them, but they're really hard. It's like the entire, like Canada is the entire, like New York is the entire state of Canada, if that makes any sense. Like,
it does.
It's about as easy to get a gun in New York as it is in
Canada. A country though?
Well, it's easier to get like a hunting rifle to go hunting, but it's just forget about a handgun, forget about personal protection.
Okay.
It's just, you're just not going to get it.
Well, is the black market like ours? If you want a gun, you can get one.
I would imagine so. I never tried, so I
well, no, but I'm trying to. Do the criminals have the guns and you do not?
I think overall, Canada has a little bit less crime, because we're just, I don't know. It's cold there. I don't know what the reason is, but we have got to remember we have 1/10 the population. We're actually a larger country. Yeah, we're a larger country, but we have 1/10 of the population, and so the only place you're going to have any kind of major crime is in the big cities like Vancouver, and you're going to have Toronto, and we have shootings there all the time. I mean, not like Chicago or anything, but again, I think that's more of a political thing. But certainly, you don't have the freedom. You don't have the political structure is completely different. It's weird. We have like whoever wins the majority like of seats is the prime minister. And if basically what that means is that if you're the head of a party, right, people vote for your party, and if you're the head of that party, then you become prime minister.
Right.
We have
It's
like
like Britain.
we have 5 or 6 different parties. We have a Senate, but the senators are sort of placed in there by the power that's they retire, and as they retire, they get stuck in there by the party that's in power. And of course, we have the Queen who can dissolve Parliament at any time. So we just don't have the same kind. We don't have the checks and balances and freedoms that you have. We
Well,
have Supreme Court,
does
but
that play at all? Because if you watch British politics, the Queen is just, a figurehead. Is that the same thing in Canada?
she has power. Believe it or not, I don't know if she can dissolve their Parliament, but she does have some
Does
power.
she
But
do
it's
anything?
it's not it's stuff you don't see behind the curtain. You know what I mean? Like there is. For instance, we can create a lot of legislation in Canada, but if she really wanted to stop something, she can just dissolve Parliament.
Well, yeah,
You
that's a
see what I'm
pretty
saying?
major. Yeah, it's a major
Yeah.
step.
Now I
So I
don't know
guess
if she
she
has
just
that.
doesn't do much, but the threat of it's
No,
always there.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
gotcha.
That's kind of the point. So it's expensive. It's you
No
can't. There's not a lot of
guns,
freedoms. You
can't
have to
talk.
watch your You got to watch your P's. They're far more progressive. They were more progressive when I left, and they're probably even worse. I mean, come on.
Right, but
Our
they got free
the
health care though, right?
Yeah,
See,
yeah, it's
that
free. Yeah,
fixes
yeah,
everything, right? Tell me
that
about the
does.
health care.
Well, okay, healthcare is fine if you are super poor and you can't afford to pay any taxes, then you probably like it. But because you can go see a doctor, you're still getting dinged. Even if you're a poor person, you're still getting dinged going to the grocery store because food's so much higher, gas is so much higher. So all those everyday things, rent is so much higher. Everything costs more, right? So okay, so you get to see a doctor. That's about the only good thing is you get to see a doctor and you don't have to pay. You could see a doctor every day of the week if you wanted to, and you wouldn't have to pay. That's probably why it's cost so much. Like it's a massive amount of our debt is, at least when I left, a massive amount of our debt is based on. I'm doing the Beto thing right now, trying to figure out should I hold my hands like this, Smooch? I'm not sure. So, train of thought is just gone right off the rails. I was
That's
saying
what
that,
happens with
yeah,
Beto.
yeah, it's so expensive. It's
Healthcare, you get
basically
to see your doc. Is it
healthcare.
your
It's
doctor?
it is your doctor. That's true, but it's a massive amount. It's such a massive amount of everything just costs so much more. So, but when you start making money, now you have to pay premiums. You're forced to pay premiums anyway. So it's not free. I guess it's guaranteed. Like it's good if you're like you constantly need care, but at the same time, if you have a real issue and you got to see a specialist, well, you could die waiting in line. You know what I mean? Because they only have so many specialists, right? And there's always been a bit of a drain brain. You know what I mean by that?
You're
Where the best of the best end up coming to America because they can't make money in Canada because it's limited. They're capped, right?
Yeah, see, that's the side of it they don't normally talk about. I mean, how
Mm-hmm.
many doctors do we see come out and say, "Hey, go universal health care"? I don't know if I've seen any real like
Mm-mm.
practicing physician doing that. So
No.
that you get the brain drain, they haul ass and come down, and but you said you still pay premiums? I thought it was
When
free.
you start making money, once you get to a certain level of income, then
Oh,
you start paying premiums.
I see. When you become one of the 1% or
No, not no, no, no,
40%,
no. You don't even have to get
60%.
anywhere near that. Once you start making a good sized paycheck now, based on your income, you're going to be paying a premium.
Wow. See, it doesn't sound like it's all it's cracked up to be.
No, no, it's not. This is what I'm trying to say. And of course, I didn't realize that at the time. Like while you're in it, you don't think it's that bad. You are amazed at what you can put up with. But when you come to this country, I'm telling you, when you get in this country, there are a reason why people want to come to this country. Okay. And it hits you when you're here for a little while. You're like, I mean, I got like one of the things that blew me away, honestly. I first moved to Washington State, and I would see these houses that had been converted into barbershops and restaurants and boutiques, and I'm like, how can you do this legally? Like, I don't understand because you would never be allowed to do that, never. because it's like everything, the building codes, and it's like this, the pollution and
So everything's
everything.
regulated.
You got to use a union guy, and it's got to be this and that, and yeah, it's so over the top regulated. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, I'm all for food safety. I think that's important, things like that. But
Yeah.
come on, just if I want to start a shop in my house here, right? Why shouldn't
Right.
I be allowed to? But you can do that in America. You cannot do that in Canada. You just can't. It
Wow.
just doesn't work that way.
A lot of people don't understand how regulations can really put
No,
a crimp on every. They
no.
call it a regulation, but it sounds to me like it's just another way to strip someone's freedom.
Yeah, it's a much more controlling society for sure.
Yeah, and it doesn't
Hello, fellow
seem like
Canadians. I don't
that.
mean to bash you, but you don't know you don't know what we've got down here. You don't know.
Well, you're one of the few that can legitimately bash them. You know, you were
Yeah,
Canadian
I'm a Canadian.
most of your life. You
Well,
know,
I'm an
so
American. I'm
you are an
American.
American now, and I guess
I'm
you.
American now. I like being American. You can't
America.
take my guns. Don't
That's
take my guns.
right.
No, I bought it hook, line, and sinker. Honestly, like I said, I love it here. It's the greatest country on earth, people, and that's why we got to fight against these scam artists like QAnon that are just they're threatening. It's been very difficult to watch the political. Um, what's been going on in politics over the last 20 years. Again, even from the side, I can remember being in Canada, and it's interesting because I seem like I knew more about your politics than most Americans do. You know what I mean? Like we pay attention because, of course, we got like King 5, we got all these stations. So our television is American, right?
Right.
And so I remember watching Clinton, the Clinton election, the first one, Bill Clinton in 1992, and I remember going, like I was just looking at everybody. I remember yelling at my TV, going, "Can't you tell this guy is a liar? Don't you care?" I'm screaming it at the top of my lungs. I remember there was a poster that came out. I don't know if it was in America, but we had it in Canada, and it was like during that whole campaign trail that he did, he changed his hair color 30 times, like 30 times.
What?
Yes, like people don't
What?
get how nuanced his entire campaign was. So in other words, he would go to an old age home, white hair. He'd go to a college, he'd have a little bit of gray in the temples, right? He'd go to a
Wow.
high school, he'd have his hair would be like a darker cut. Like wherever he was going and whoever he was talking to, his look was tailored. Even his ties. Remember the controversy? Like he had a guy that was just looking, and he paid $5,000 for something for like advice on the right color of tie during a particular event, things like this.
Yeah, I do remember hearing something about that.
So there's a lot of psychology behind it. So I remember even then just like screaming at you guys. So I was quite aware of the political landscape, so to speak, from the, again, great perspective for me from the outside looking in. But again, once you get here, you start to really care about the country. And I got to be honest with you, I was never a huge Bush fan. I mean, obviously, I'm going to be more of a Republican. There was no way when the whole John McCain thing happened, I was like tuned out of that. I'm like, I'm just tuned out. It's like, how can you win? John McCain or Obama? John McCain or I was like, okay, I'll take devil one or devil two. Which one will be better for me? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I have no love for that man.
a lot of
Plus,
people, stayed away from politics simply because of
yeah,
those choices they had, and other people that had been in for a long time, like Glenn, Adam, and others, they held their nose and they
mm-hmm.
pulled that lever. But it took someone like Trump to bring back those people that were like, like me. I
Yeah,
tried to pay attention to politics in my 30s, and it was
yeah,
just too. I just looked and seen two wings of the same bird, and I
yeah, yeah.
didn't care. It wasn't until someone actually spoke truth to power that it got me like completely. I want to touch real quick on you mentioned that your music career.
Yeah, yeah.
So music that's the big hidden talent folks don't know about. Spy the Liar. Why don't you tell folks just a tad about your music career? And I'm going to pull up a video real quick.
Well, I wouldn't call it a music career. I would say that I've always loved music, and I've been involved in music since I was very young. So when I was about 17, I started in rock and roll, maybe even a little earlier. I think I was in a band when I was like 14 called Burnt Cabbage. So nothing too great. We were terrible. But
That's a
around
great
7,
name, though.
I know,
Burnt
isn't it great?
cabbage. That's
Burnt
fucking
Cabbage.
rough.
So, well, it was two guys who did. It was three. It was like three or four of us, and the two guys that were playing instruments, bass and guitar, didn't know how to play guitar. I didn't know how to sing. The drummer was terrible. I mean, it was just guys banging instruments, and we were doing it. It was worse than a punk band because at least punk bands could play their instruments. So it was more about having a name and being in a band so you could tell chicks, yeah, I'm in a band, Burn Cabbage, man. So, yeah, around 17 years old, I started to get serious about it. I was a big Rush fan, Canadian prog rock band, Rush, who has sold as many albums, gold records. They're third behind only the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. Thank you very much. Go Canada, eh? So yeah, I loved Rush, and I just loved Geddy Lee. Yeah, I just loved Geddy Lee, so I started to emulate his style, and just it was a natural thing. I just kept being. I've been basically singing Geddy Lee for 30 years, but I also played in different bands. I busked quite a bit. I don't think I kind of quit for a while. My wife was extremely supportive, and she could tell that after like 10 years of working pretty hard and flying around all over the country and all over the world, actually doing the business that we were doing. She said, "Well, if you could do anything, what would you do?" Because my health was starting to fall a little bit by the wayside. And I said, "Well, I'd love to get my Rush band back together again." So I couldn't get anything going here, which was weird. So I ended up being in two Rush tribute bands up in Canada at the same time, simultaneously. So that was kind of interesting. But
All right, well, hold that thought for just
yeah,
a second
okay,
because
sure,
that's exactly what I've got. I'm going to go ahead and play a little clip. If you want to, I'll mute you. That way you can
okay,
turn on your other device and hear, and
all
then
right.
tell us a little bit about this experience. So this looks like it's a couple years ago. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start that right now. All right. All right, I have unmuted you.
All
Wow.
right.
That's pretty damn cool. You sound pretty spot on close to that guy.
Well, that's just hours and hours of practice. I mean, years and years of practice, like 3 decades of practice. You get pretty good at it after a while. Yeah, I really loved it. I didn't do it for the money because there's just no money in Rush. I got to tell you the truth. As much as it's the hardest music you'll ever play, and but it's so rewarding to play it. But you won't make any cash. You won't make any cash,
Yeah, that's a lot
which
of
is fine.
music.
It's
That's
fine. You
most
just
music.
Yeah, it's true. Well, I don't know. So, I mean, there is certain. I mean, I can remember being in top 40 bands and just filling bars, and making some pretty good coin. But I can't. I just back then I'm like, oh, I'm so sick of doing Moni Moni. If I have to do that song one more time, I'm gonna puke. How many
Moni
times can you?
Moni.
How many times can you sing Pearl Necklace? You know what I mean? Like you just. It's a nice day for a white wedding.
Yeah, well, tell us how
there,
long that you sang that before you actually knew what that song meant.
Oh, I remember having no. Actually, I knew, but when it first came out, I had no idea. I was like, "Oh, it's nice. He bought her a pearl necklace, isn't that?" Like that's an expensive item, you know. Like, I just didn't click, you know. Like my innocent Canadian brain did not put two and two together, right? So, but I was young back then. Now we're going back. To be fair, when did that album come out? Like
Gosh,
we're
that was in
talking
the
'80s. Like
70s, huh? 80s?
no, that would have been the eight. Well, hang on.
Ask
Yeah, that
Glenn.
probably would have been like 80. Yeah, ask Glenn. I'm going to say 82, but I could be wrong. But I'm
82.
thinking, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Survey says I'm waiting on Glenn to respond
yeah,
because he'll
yeah.
know.
There you go. If he's in the room, he'll know for sure. He'll
Yeah,
he'll tell you when it
absolutely.
happened and who the
80,
producer was.
81 Fish says.
There you go. See, I was close.
Yeah.
So yeah,
83 Maddie says. Oh hell, now we'll have to look it up.
yeah. So I did the Rush thing for a long time. Those are my good friends there. You saw Rob Fowler, Robert Gardunia. I can't remember the drummer's name. I just kidding. I actually I can't, believe it or not. It just escaped me, even though I played
Wow.
with him forever. He's like one of my best friends too. How sad is that?
Yeah, I guess
It'll,
that guy
it'll
was a
pro-
bass that kept coming in going, all right,
no, the
during that video.
Subdivisions guy. Yeah, that was Rob Fowler. That's the guitar player.
Nice.
Fantastic guitar player. Yeah. Um,
1981, thus saith New York City Guns.
there we go. So I said 82. I was probably thinking like Tube Snake Boogie. That one I didn't even know either. How stupid is that? That was before. That was like 70. That was like 80 or 79. That one.
Tube
You're the
Steak
Tube Snake
Boogie.
Boogie. Yeah, now Boogity Woogity Baby. Those guys are around forever. Actually, fun piece of trivia. They asked Jimi Hendrix. He said, "Who's your hero? Like, who would you like?" And he said, "Oh, that Billy Gibson, that guy from Gibbons from that band." He's like, "Oh, I wish I could he's my hero. I wish I could play as good as him." So that kind of tells you how long they've been. Those guys were around forever, forever.
Yeah, Neil Peart,
Yeah,
I guess, was that the drummer of
yeah,
Rush?
Rush. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the
Okay.
drummer of Rush. Yeah,
And you couldn't remember your friend that played with
no,
you.
nope. Can't remember his name. I could see his face. I've hung out with him a million
Wow.
times. No idea.
He's watching this show right
Yeah,
now.
he's like,
You
you,
son of
you,
a.
don't you dare come over to my house again.
That's right.
I
Hey, you.
It's just, yeah, it's just gone. Like that's what happens when you get old. Your brain just shuts off, right? And
Wow.
now there's all this pressure on live. It's like, remember his name, and I just look at him like he's such a cute guy. I like him, but I just don't remember your name, dude. I was in a band with you for 5 years.
Right.
So
So they
it'll come back
you
as soon as
did
we stop
Rush
talking.
and did you do other bands?
Yeah, I was in a Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young band for about 3 or 4 years there. That was a
Nice.
lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I did Neil Young a lot. It's sort of, I don't know. I just have the Neil Young sort of Geddy Lee sound. So anything that's a little bit tenor above up around there.
Nice.
And yeah, I mean, I've done a whole variety. I've been in lots of different bands for short periods of time. So those are the ones that sort of are closest to my heart, where I had the most success or spent the most time. I
Yeah.
mean, I've been in a band, in a Rush tribute band in one form or another for, like I said, for about 30 years, starting with a band called The Works, and then I had Test for Echo for a few years, and I had this other band, Moving Pictures, for a while, and whatever. It just keeps kind of going on. And this last one that you saw, that was actually at the time was called The Body Electric, and then the bass player moved on, and we actually got a different guy, and then we decided, well, let's just call ourselves the Rush Experience. I think there was some other band that was called the Led Zeppelin Experience, and they sort of did the same thing, because I could own the URL, and it just seemed like that would be more marketable. But again, Rush was touring till like for 40 years. So I was waiting for those guys to either die or quit, and they just never did. You know what I mean? So it's really hard to have a tribute to the band when you can actually still go and see that band live. So I was like, plus, there's one thing about Rush fans: you either love Rush or you're like Adam and you want to kill yourself when you hear it. So.
Right. Well, Kafefe Kim says Rush just kind of keeps going on.
Yeah, like an amazing band they're done now. They are done. It's over now. They did their farewell tour, but unfortunately, by the time they decided to hang up their boots, I was too old. I'm just like, okay, I've been right there along with you, but so now I'm too decrepit to keep doing this, because I got to tell you, man, you saw my setup there. I had the 3 keyboards, right, and then you got all these amps and lights and monitors, and you're like, when I've had arthritis for many years, and unfortunately, it's kind of gotten the better of me. And I'm like, okay, I'm in my late 50s. I can see the 6-0 coming, and I'm like, I got to stop. So
Vapor Bat Records says Rush is Q. I don't know if he's talking about Limbaugh or the band.
I could believe that Neil Peart would be Q, but that's it. Like,
that's funny.
yeah.
That's awesome. So definitely you got to at least experience a lot of what you love to do. And yes,
Oh, yeah.
fam, we do have him working on songs as we speak, but he's got a cold. So as you can hear him in the background. It's
Sorry,
it's
guys.
coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
And also a little birdie told me today that Queen Athene is working on a couple as we speak as well. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
And they
Me
will
too.
all air right here on Pandamonium.
Sorry.
No doubt. So let's get into. Unless you got more to talk about on your music career, because this is absolutely my forum is yours. But I'd like to know how you got into American politics, one, and how you made your way and found this MAGA coalition fam, and when, time period wise, when that transpired.
Well, okay, I think like for most people that were disillusioned with politics, like me, even when I remember having this conversation with my bandmates, by Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young guys, I'm like, we were talking about the 2016 election cycle, and I'm like, Donald Trump is running? Like, what? Is this a joke? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I honestly was like, okay, he's pulling our legs. Like, you got to remember, I'd seen him hanging out with Hillary Clinton, right?
Right.
So I was like, okay, I don't know if this is controlled opposition or what. But as you start, look, just like everybody else, when you saw him during those debates, when you saw the way he was taking down Jeb,
oh my God,
and giving everybody these nicknames, and it was great. He was
I'm
just
at 42
people.
and you're at 3.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. And then he was taken on the press, and I just became very excited.
John McCain.
Yeah.
Who didn't he take on?
Yeah, and it was just like, it was amazing to watch that. So I became very excited about it. But to be honest with you, I was on my way out the door. I was really thinking, I think it's time for us to move out of here, baby. I think we got to move. I wanted to move back to Canada, or maybe move to Taiwan, where my wife's from, because I just didn't see the point in staying. Because if Hillary Clinton would have won, I'm gone. I mean, I'm sorry, if people are stupid enough to vote for that woman after everything she's done, I don't mean to get angry, but I'm like, I go back all the way to Arkansas with this lady. I mean, all the stuff and all the bodies that are piled up. Okay, I'm not going to be a conspiratard here, but all the bodies, all the evil stuff she's done. Even when look, how bad of a person do you have to be to get kicked off the Watergate investigation for ethics violation?
Good.
That's how dishonest and evil she is. And she only got, like, she just stewed and marinated.
Hey, she breaks barriers, dude. She breaks
evilness. Barriers. And she just got worse and worse. And it's like everything that comes out of her mouth is a lie. It's just, I can't stand even, like, honestly, I couldn't stand even looking at her. So I'm like, if this country is stupid enough if enough people are stupid enough to vote for her and she becomes president, I am out of this place. So when that didn't happen, I could tell you, I was on Wayne Dupree's show the night of the morning after the election, because I was like a lot of people. I'm like, I actually felt like he was going to win, but there's always that, like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, you're still a little bit.
Oh,
but
I wasn't going to
it in my
sleep
bones
until they said it. But I was watching that New York Times ticker, and about 8:30, that son of a bitch went from 80% Hillary, and it started doing this.
That's when it became. As soon as it was pretty early on, you could see this is not going the way you think it's going.
2-3 hours, you could just see them stalling.
Yeah, and that wasn't that delicious though? Like the salt mining was just so vast. The next day, the people freaking out, the marches, and like, the reading was just great.
Yeah,
the reading, like, there's so
CNN
many great
screwing themselves. The guy running and, we need to march in the streets, and he's like, "Hey, I know you. You were your cameraman."
And the Young Turks had a meltdown.
Oh, that was so good.
Oh, it was delicious. It was delicious. So the whole thing was delicious. But then I started getting angry because the way the press was, like, this guy's a racist, and I'm like, are you guys out here? Like, do you forget the guy's been in the public eye for 50
A
years? Are you
billionaire
out of your minds? Are you out of your minds? Like, how can you try to wrap
in
that
New
around his
York
neck?
City.
And then the whole Russian investigation and stuff like that. I was just like, so I started to become a real defender of it, of Trump. Now, I want to make this perfectly clear. I will not endorse him when I think he's done something wrong. I will call that stuff out right away. Like, I'm not happy about him bombing an empty warehouse in Syria. I understand the politics behind it, and I support the guy 95% of the time. But when he does something wrong, I'm still not going to be like, oh, it's okay, I'm mega, so I'm just going to ignore that. You know what I mean?
Well,
But I
yeah.
am a big supporter.
Yeah, I mean, we all have to have our,
Yeah.
you can't. That's the whole cult mentality that you have to
Mm.
go along with everything.
No, no.
I agree, disagree with your take on that, but that's
I'm
basically
sure you
the
do.
great thing
Yeah.
about MAGA is we can
Yeah.
have debate, and at the end of the day, we can even agree to disagree.
Yeah. Yeah.
What gets me, what is worse than, just having a difference of opinion with you about it, is when you have someone with a big platform that
Yeah.
says, that's it, Trump hates us, Trump is a warmonger, Trump's been lying to us the whole time. There's a difference between disagreeing with something he did and then
Yeah.
just plain out bashing the man and speaking
Oh yeah.
lies.
I've never been a never Trumper. I'm like, I
Cernovich
don't go.
did that, and
Yeah.
that was the end of Cernovich,
Yeah.
as far
Yeah.
as MAGA was concerned.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And I mean, he's done a lot of, I mean, he's taken it very personal, and he attacks people. Like, I might argue the issue itself, but he made it really personal against people that disagree with him. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
Like, he
exactly.
went off the edge. Like, you and I could have, and we won't have this conversation now, but you and I could
No,
sit down and we could have it back and forth on why I think it was wrong and you thought it was right, or you thought it was the right thing and I didn't agree with
exactly.
you. And we would come to a conclusion, and we would either agree to disagree, and you would hear what I had to say and I'd hear what you have to say. And we might be a lot closer than you think. You know what I
Well,
mean? Like,
exactly. And
right,
actually having that conversation allows, and listening to it allows
right.
for me to have my mind opened or you to have your mind open. When you close off debate, nothing is accomplished. Nothing
Yeah,
at all. So that's
no.
the difference between us and them. But go ahead. Sorry for
Yeah, but
interrupting.
again, I mean, I started to see a real change after the election of people, my friends, family members, just how I want to use the right word here. Um, how they have sort of moved away from a fact-based reality, like how they just kind of went into an emotional downspin. Like, there was no more talking. Like, I'm watching the press fall apart because they're lying, and they know they're lying, and they're lying, and you're like, this is really dangerous for our country. Like, love or hate Trump, like, there has to be some element of truth. Like, it's not that you're coloring things a certain way or you're leaning a certain way. I sort of expect that, but the way they would lie, it was disgusting. And I couldn't even, I had to get off Facebook. Honestly, I couldn't stand it anymore, because if you have a liberal friend, they're nuts. I don't know what it is. They've gone nuts. Whereas before the election, even if, like, let's say I'd gone for like, I bit my tongue and I said, oh, if I was able to have pulled the lever, I would have pulled it for Bush, right? The other person was going for the other person, and we might disagree on policy, right? But at the end of the day, we're still friends. We're still sitting down. We're having dinner. We're going out to the bar. We're doing whatever, right? We're listening to
Exactly.
music, having a good time. That's over. That's over
It
now.
is.
Like, there's no talking. No, he's a racist. He's a bigot. He's a xenophobic. Blah blah blah. It's like everything that they say, and it's like there's no conversation anymore, which is so sad. And I feel like it's crazy that we're divided. But I absolutely I blame a huge portion of that on the press coverage. These are advocates now. There's no reality based reporting anymore.
Excuse me.
It's all agenda driven, and it's just horrible, and it's horrible and divisive for our country. And we are a lot closer on a lot of issues. And it's hard to believe when you see all the great things, like super low unemployment. You know what I mean? Like, all this great stuff is happening, and at the same time they're like fighting it tooth and nail. And but anyways, I thought if Hillary was going to win, I'm out of here. So that's how I sort of came into politics. I became, like, sort of hot onto the topic. Before that, I was very cold. And then I met the guys in, I guess, um, I guess that's sort of like I'm still going to always be a bit of an apologist for Trump, but at the same time, we sort of were talking about how did I come into the like. Were you asking me about how I came into the mega coalition? Is that what you're sort of asking?
Yeah, yeah. How you came into politics and then how you actually found us as a group in that time period. Because depending on when you stumble across the MAGA coalition, you could have some
Yeah.
pretty crazy thoughts about who are these people. So that's the story that I want to know.
Okay.
You became hot on the topic and how you made your way towards us.
Well, even though those two things are related, politics and the mega coalition, for me, they're not really as related like they are now. I mean, obviously, I'm in the same. I'm doing the Beto hand thing. Sorry, guys. For me, it's sort of like they're related, but in regards to my relationship to the mega coalition, that kind of is more related to QAnon, which again, QAnon is related to Trump. So I guess in a weird roundabout way. Because that's why I've been so against Trump is because I saw even a year ago, I'm looking down the road and I'm going, they are going to use this against Trump. I'm seeing the damage. This is before a lot of people got arrested. You know what I mean? Like I'm just seeing how this is going to play out. And but how I became part of the mega coalition family was just I was about 9 months ago, maybe a little longer, 10 months, something like that. I was just fighting and going online and trying to be really reasonable and talk to people and say, hey, like I think the reason, like we have habeas corpus and there's not going to be a bunch of like planes on standby. We're not going to load 50,000 people, liberals and our political enemies onto those planes. We're not going to fly them to Gitmo and we're not going to suspend their civil rights. This is why I know this is wrong. It's a LARP. It has to be because we have due process in this country, right? Which is great. So I'm fighting and Ginger, I just ran into Ginger McQueen and we just started like, I was having her back and she was having my back. We were sort of fighting each other. And then that sort of like, I started to DM her. I had no idea who she was. I didn't know anything about YVA. I didn't know anything about your history, the Mega Coalition, nothing like that.
When was this?
So this is about 10 months ago, 9 months, 10 months ago.
Okay,
I just
so
building up there.
June, July.
I don't really, I can't,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just kind of going by my periscopes. I know I started periscoping about 8 to 9 months ago and it was a month or two before that. So I'm guessing right around then. And I just started having this interaction with her and not knowing anything about Mega Coalition, not knowing anything about her background or anything. I noticed she had a lot of followers. I'm like, oh, she's got 30,000 followers. But anyways, it was like a friend, like more like a sister, like I just started to talk to her and DM with her because I just had I felt such a kinship with her. Right. So that sort of started. And then she invited me. Now she knows a lot of people out there know that I'm a Christian, right? So she knew I was a Christian and I was fairly vocal about it online. And I actually, most of my Twitter is dedicated to that and, or politics or defending Trump. But for the most part, she kind of thought, well, she said, well, I got to go on Glenn's show. I got to go on this thing. And I'm like, what's that? And she goes, well, I'd invite you, but I don't think it's your cup of tea. Right. So, and so I was like, no, I want to see you on the show, so I go and I watch. And at first it was I was taken aback a little bit, but I said to her, what I say to everybody is like, look, I'm not going to hold Glenn up to my standard. Wow. As far as behavior,
she didn't want you to be corrupted by the
she didn't want me to be corrupted.
Coalition.
But I'm a dude. I was in a band for like 30, 40 years. I mean, come on, I have a little bit of history. Okay, I'm not an angel, but so basically, I recognized right away what Glenn was doing, and that is that everything that he says there's a purpose for it. It's biting, it's satirical, and it's meant to get in your face. And he's making a point with it. He's not just saying F-ity, F, 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 every other word. He's doing what he says and when he says it and why he says it is for a very particular reason. It's a very effective weapon in his arsenal. And so I would never want to curb his style. But I do notice that when he's called into me and we've had conversations, I know he's being respectful and he's not like being Glenn, like he's not full on Glenn, if that makes sense. So he knows how to read the room. But on his own show, boy, he's going to be going like full out, right? Which is great. And I love the show. And that's sort of how it started. I just started to watch the YBA stuff. And I not the YBA, sorry, oops. I started to watch the SNL.
How dare you?
I know, I'm so sorry.
We all came from YBA.
Yeah.
Most of us did.
so then, I started to just sort of show up in the chat room, and I was pretty quiet. I mean, I didn't want to really like, I don't know, interject myself. I wanted whatever relationship I was going to end up having with MAGA Coalition to sort of happen naturally and on its own, right? And
Right.
then this whole thing just sort of blew up, right? And I just felt like, okay, I'm starting to get a little more comfortable on Periscope. So I think, like, you sort of feel like, okay, what can I do in this battle? What can I pick up? So I thought, okay, I'm going to just start Scope, and I'm going to see how it goes. And unauthorized wise, I said, Mega Coalition after party with Spy the Liar, right? I just thought maybe people want to come and they want to talk. Now, I figure if Glenn or Adam or Ginger didn't want me to do it, they'd probably let me know. Or if I was misrepresenting what's happening, they'd say, okay, stop, right? But so maybe I should have asked. I don't know. But anyways, that's sort of my contribution. I thought that's how I met you. That's how I met all 33 Rule and all these other people. And actually, it was 33 Rule that put me on with his Periscope. And then all of a sudden, I had this great conversation with Adam, and I'm like, this is great. And it's just sort of gone on from there. I've been on with DeFango on his show, and me and Ginger are huge fans of DeFango, so we were both trying to get him on. Even before this whole thing blew up, we're trying to get him on to SNL, right? And it's just now, this last 16 days, it's just like, I just feel like everybody's found their voice and they're starting to step up to the plate. And we got David Seaman, Isaac Green, we got you, we got me, we got like so many people they're just going to put their voice out there, and they're going to keep this thing going, because what happened 18 days ago was like an earthquake. And right now there's this incoming wave, the tsunami, and we're going after Praying Medic, and we're going after Pampelon, and we're going after all these figureheads at the top. And I'm hoping we can get to that tipping point. But so long-winded story, but that's how I sort of became I feel like I'm a member of the fam. And I wasn't there in the beginning, but I didn't just show up like 3 days ago. I've been around for about a year now. So lurking in the background, waiting to pounce.
Yes, and let me confirm that you are definitely a part of the fam.
Thank
Not
you so
all
much.
when we use the term fam, that's not
Yeah.
just the original group that's been through. That may
Yeah.
be the core fam. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I'd say about 40 to 50 people that if I picked up the phone and I said I need help with something, they're going to do
Right.
everything in their power to help.
Right.
And if Adam puts out a plea, there's 40 or 50 that are going to jump
Mm-hmm.
immediately. But the fam is a lot larger than that. And, you know, if you support our president and you're willing to fight the scourge that is grifterism and the liberals and everything else, then, you know, you're a natural fit for this fam. It's not for everyone. But there's a
No.
lot of people in this fam that sit back and they fight in different ways. They fight with just
Mm-hmm.
a simple retweet, a
Right.
simple like, and that's
Yeah.
just as important. You don't have to do parody songs. You don't
No.
have to go and yell at freaking you know, the grifters out there. All you have to do is simply support the people that are out here with the fight, and that's MAGA fam. This isn't a cult. Everyone brings their own thing, and sometimes just being there for moral support, that is enough. And you know what you've done and what's happened in your transformation in the last few weeks, finding your voice, is kind of the
Mm-hmm.
same thing that happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't have Adam Gingrich come on my show for
I'm
three
sorry, dude.
hours.
I'm
I've
sorry, dude.
never had Adam Gingrich on my show, but he's been in every chat of every show I've probably ever done. So, you
Yeah.
know, Adam's always been there to support. And when this
Mm-hmm.
all wraps up, I
Mm-hmm.
will have my most special Pandas Patriots guest on. I'm assuming this, of course, and I will bring Adam on, and we'll discuss exactly the last couple years and what the you know this fam has done and what it means to him personally. Because
Right.
getting Adam on a personal level, the only time you really get that is either an SNL when he's you know imbibing a little bit, or a MAGA meetup, and a lot of people just don't you know haven't seen that side of him. And Adam's one of the most personable people out there. Same with Glenn.
Yeah.
Everyone so scared of Glenn. You see them go creep up to Glenn at an event like, "Hi, how you doing, Glenn?"
Yeah.
And
Oh,
Glenn's one of the coolest people out there.
yeah. Even talking to him live, I was like, I don't
Hey, I got
know.
17 new messages. Q is
Oh,
real. Sorry.
Well, I hate to tell you this, but if you believe that, you're just stupid, and I mean that in the kindest, nicest way, because
Exactly.
it's not real. It's you know it's not. We're not going to suspend habeas corpus. There, that guy that took that plane in SeaTac, he did not crash it intentionally into a secret military base to cover up where there was a missile
After
launch to
doing
try to take out the
Q,
president.
yeah, he did Q
After
air
doing
patterns.
that guy showed up.
Au
At,
contraire, Jen, I have to disagree with someone in the chat. Jen said I've never had her on my show. That is not true. We have had a few very long shows. Maybe not just like this, but we had Cafefe shows, and we had her come out and tell the world just how Ann Vandersteel tried to destroy her event. So you forgot about that, Jen. No, I
I heard
digress.
I heard that Ann Vandersteel was disavowed by the Trump campaign. This is a rumor. I cannot
What?
confirm this, but she was. Yeah, apparently Ann Vandersteel was
We better
disavowed.
research that at
I think so.
dailybeast.com. Yeah,
Dailybeast.com. Yes.
yeah, dailybeast.com, which is a liberal leftist site that we don't like, but they are dedicated to destroying the QLARP. So
Right. Oh, by the
that's
way,
great.
I happen to have it on good authority that the president does watch Smooch Panda. So,
Oh.
hi, POTUS.
Hi,
Hi,
POTUS.
POTUS. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and we're all Mossad agents, so everybody say hi, BB. Hi,
Hi,
BB.
BB. How come you? Where's my check?
Yes,
I
I
want
do,
my
Jen.
check. I've been waiting so long for these
Right?
imaginary checks, and I'm like, shouldn't I be getting like the deep state check by now? And where's my Mossad money and my Soros
Yeah.
money? I mean, I should be living high off the hog. And as you can tell by my background, I'm living in
Yeah.
a palace. I'm living in
Man,
a palace, man.
my
So,
my boss has had issues here. So in 24 days, I've received a whopping $100, and my truck is broke down as we speak.
oh,
And I had to put my dog down.
oh
So
yeah.
yeah,
Sorry
the
about that, buddy.
Mossad money needs to hurry up and arrive so I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
live high on the hog. But the good thing is, I think I get the MAGA Coalition Lambo in 2 weeks. So I'm looking forward to that.
Sweet. And
Hell yeah.
I hear that we're not organic. We're not. This is all manufactured, and we're all coordinated. Again, there's some weird force out there that just sort of all brings us together. I think you
Yeah,
muted. Yeah. Go ahead, brother.
I don't think I'm muted. No, you're right. That's been some of the greatest thing. As your voice has come out, a lot of other voices have
Mm-hmm.
spoken up, and I think when the vindication comes, and it has been coming for us since Ann Vandersteel was disavowed by the Trump
The Trump
campaign. If you didn't
campaign.
hear, yeah, when that
Yeah.
happened, our battle of the last year, that was
Mm-hmm.
our vindication. And I think a lot of people who thought ill of MAGA Coalition, but had watched for the last 2 years, year and a half, was like, wow, those
Mm-hmm.
guys were actually telling the truth. I
Yeah.
had people flat out say it. Hey, I just didn't like you guys. I didn't like your style, and I thought you were full of shit. But you guys were right. And I still don't like you, but you're right. And I'm okay with that. That's just the truth of the matter. We're not everyone's cup of tea.
No,
You know?
it was a little abrasive at times, and honestly,
we are an acquired taste.
from the outside looking in, it's like, wow, they're just being super brutal, these people. But I didn't know the story. Now I understand the story, right? So I get it. But before then, I'm like, okay, this is a little bit hard. Like this is like you did a show with in someone's. I don't want to be too graphic, but inside of someone's body part, a particular
Rectal
fleshy
cavity?
Yeah,
I could have said ass or anus.
Yeah,
I mean, I was
yeah,
nice with the
yeah. You
rectal
could have
cavity.
said those things as well. But yeah, there you go. So yeah, I could see how it wasn't. But once you get the story, and we might as well do a plug. Go to megacoalition.com, because if you go there and bookmark that page, you're going to find out this whole story and everything that's led up to this whole stupid praying medic QAnon garbage. You're going to find out the story about David Joseph Hayes and the grifter David Joseph Hayes. You're going to find out about his relationship with Adam Gingrich way before QAnon was even a thing. Okay, so you're going to see how that guy was a grifter then and was trying to get Adam involved in a grift. Okay, you're going to find out that it was Ann Vandersteel's husband that started the Mega Coalition. Okay, not Adam. He was part of it, but it was started by her husband. All right,
That's
so
right.
Mega Coalition was salvaged when the grifters thought that they could use that for their own ill-gotten gains. Okay, that's when Adam Gingrich, that's when Glenn Herman came on board to clean everything up and to make sure that was FEC compliant. And by the way, morons, if you're going to do a Q post, you don't recommend they go to the IRS. It's the FEC. Okay, FEC, you morons. Do some basic research. Okay, so
Moron.
there's absolutely nothing there. You can, and this is what I always challenge every one of these QAnon people. Okay, your mighty QAnon, the intelligence officer that's behind Trump, all right, that's doling out all these gems to you about the future and what's about to happen, goes after a super PAC that's pro-Trump, that has 100 followers on a YouTube channel, that has basically been out of the loop for a while. Right? They're still alive on paper, but they have no effect whatsoever. And you can't even get a simple detail like the FEC is where you would go to report them and not the IRS that would have nothing to do with it. Are you kidding me? But my challenge to you, and my challenge has been to every one of these people, where is your argument? What has the Mega Coalition done? Their paperwork is online and available for you to look. Are you looking? Have you found anything? Because I've not seen one thing. Not one
No.
thing. You badmouth them. You call them
Oh yeah.
shills.
They won't give to candidates.
But you've got nothing. You have absolutely nothing. There was no illegality. You can't point to
No.
it. So you have to ask yourself, why would Q do that? And how coincidental is it that we have a beef with Praying Medic, who has a previous relationship with the Mega Coalition, trying to use that name and use Adam Gingrich to continue his grift. Okay, you got guys like Pamplin Long with 16 charges, criminal activity.
Now is that fate or what? That the 17th charge he could get could be for pimping Q.
Yeah, taking him down
For the Q fraud. Number
right.
17.
So just
think about that.
Show us the evidence.
Yep.
And then ask yourself this question: why did QAnon go after Mega Coalition? Why? Why did Praying Medic go on YVA? And then there were 2 more drops. And you tell me there isn't a connection between QAnon and David. There obviously has to be some type of way that he's orchestrating it. I'm not saying he has a trip code. I'm not even saying the guy that he's writing it, but he's involved with it, because you do not go after the Mega Coalition and have a personal beef and then suddenly QAnon starts dropping bombs on Mega Coalition. And by the way, your bombs fell short. We're not getting attacked. Nothing is happening to us. All the pressure is going towards you. Where's your 10,000 Anons? They don't exist.
That's
you
right.
are a joke. You are a joke on 8chan. You're a
and
joke.
why did he delete all the QAnon posts on his
Right.
own website?
Right. And then say he's not going to talk about it anymore. It's like, oh, excuse me, let me open this can of worms and then dump them on the table and like, oh right. No, I got to put all the worms back.
Well, there's actual Q followers, though, that have sent him messages and said, Praying Medic, they're saying this and this. What's going on? Can you please explain? And he's blocking them.
Right.
Anyone who's questioning, it's gone from question everything and research to don't look past what I'm saying. Trust me like I'm Jesus Christ, or trust Q like he's God himself.
And ask yourself this, QAnon followers, why did David Hayes, a.k.a. the Praying Medic, who can revive the dead and grow limbs, why did he go to his website, shut it down, and change his 501, he said on his website that you could deduct your donations, and then all of a sudden they're gone now. You can't. When we pointed it out that there is no way that this could be recognized, he had it recognized by the IRS. Donations were tax deductible, and suddenly that's gone. Who's scamming who? Why would he change that? Is that a question you should be asking him? Or are you just going to keep just like, oh, well, I love David. Come on, man. Wake up, will you? He shut down his Twitter account, and it looked like he was heading for the border.
Until Glenn tracked him. Dun, 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 dun,
right. Dun, dun, dun. You got the New Zealand shooting, which has created a lot of heat on the 8chan boards. You've got the guy from New Jersey. I can't remember his name. Something with a C, who
Yeah,
writes a Q on his
Columbo
hand.
or some.
Yeah, Colimbo,
Oh yeah,
Columbo.
Caliembo.
He
I
writes
don't
it
know.
Coliembo. There we go. And he writes a Q on his hand. You don't think there's some heat coming your way? You got the Patriot soapbox going down for 19 hours. They went down yesterday for a bunch of time. You've got the person who's running the HN board resigned because he has problems in real life, but they're not saying what those problems are. But we're not being attacked. This is the thing I'm trying to tell you is there's no heat. I have not felt any heat coming towards me. If anything, I'm feeling, yes, I'm getting a lot of people that are coming onto my stream and they're going, why don't you Q's, the people that support Q's are still going to vote for Trump, and why do you hate Q, and why are you dividing MAGA? Because it's looking bad, and you know the liberals are going to use this against us.
Yep.
That's why.
As
Because
you
you're hurting
see,
Trump.
right behind you on the screen is a screenshot taken from David Joseph Hayes' website, prayingmedic.com, before he decided to change it and make this into. See if I can do it with my magic of special effects. That's what it says now.
Yeah. Yeah, there it is. Recognized by the RS. That whole part is gone now. So where are the questions for this guy? But here's the thing about QAnon. Here's the thing about QAnon. You get rid of David Hayes, there are still going to be people that still believe that there is an actual person that is writing these, and that he's still some form of some mystic purveyor of truth that's going to like round up and take care of all your problems. And I'm sorry to say this, okay? There is no Q. They're not going to round up a bunch of liberals. They're not going to round up a bunch of these evil people. We're not stupid. Look, we all know that pedophiles exist. We all know this. We hate them. Trust me when I say this. We do. We hate pedophiles. We hate people that break the law. We hate politicians that get away with stuff. We hate the whole Jussie Smollett thing where he can just walk away after he does a hoax against the family. Right? We hate that kind of stuff. But we also know we live in the real world. We know that there is a process, and unfortunately, it's not perfect, but it is the best process in the entire world. All right? And we're not, there isn't going to be this big payoff. The only payoff is happening right now is you taking money out of your pockets and paying off guys like Pamphlet Anon and 412 Anon and whoever Anon is. Isn't that hilarious? They're called Anons. Pamphlet Anon. If you're Anon, you're anonymous.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Well, let's correct
Anon.
the record there. We have Chiclet Anon, we have Glazed Anon, we have Man Bun Anon, and more nicknames are coming forthwith as more are exposed.
Glazed Donut Anon?
Yeah, I just thought Glazed was. We got the picture. I mean, you know how Trump puts a nickname on somebody?
Yeah.
Well, I've managed to do that with Brendan Dilley with Dildo Scammons. And
right.
Isaac Green managed to do it with Praying Medic with Glazed Donut. That's just,
yeah,
I mean, that's him forever.
He came up with that. That's
it's
hilarious.
Genius.
He's always going to be known as the Glazed Donut.
It's genius, man. And also the Love Dumpling. I mean, he's been the Love Dumpling for a whole fucking year. It's just not a lot of people know him as the Love Dumpling.
I like saying the Love Dumpling, like without the G on the end.
Dumpling?
Just Dumpling.
That's Glenn's Love Dumpling.
Yeah, it's the Love Dumpling.
Yeah, he absolutely adores Glenn.
Yeah, Dumpling. Oh man, that guy! I'm telling you, that guy is psychotic. He is psychotic. He does not have real emotions, folks. I'm sorry.
You made such great points there that I'm not even going to try and step on them. I would just say, if you guys want actual video evidence of the kind of stuff that Medic was spewing about 11 months or 13 months ago versus the same time period what Adam was saying, I took two scopes from the same time period within like a week apart. Mm-hmm. And I did it's on Smooch Panda channel only at youtube.com. That's YouTube/C/Smooch Panda. Go look at the prognosticator battle that I've got up there. And it's a short show. It's like an hour and 20 minutes, but It's there. It's 20 minutes of Medic with his predictions and 20 minutes of Gingrich. See who was closer. See who was, well, I'll give it away. That battle wasn't even fucking close. So if you want to hear the kind of idiocy this guy was spewing a year ago, go to my channel, check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, if you haven't already done so, please go to the Mega Coalition YouTube channel and subscribe, and then keep your eyes out, because we always have these. Lately, they've been, every single one of them is fantastic. We always expose something new. We've already we did the Praying Medic. We did that. I think we did 2 shows about Praying Medic, and we'll do more, I'm sure. We did Brian Cates, right?
Yep.
The Creepy
In the
Porn
Matrix.
Paperboy. Yeah, we did
Yep.
In the Matrix.
Yep.
And we're going to be going after Pamphlet and all.
Proven anti-Semite.
Yes,
Proven
absolutely
anti-Semite. And for all the people that come on to my scopes or come on to MAGA Coalition YouTube shows, and I have to whack you. I don't want to. I like debate.
Yeah.
I want someone to answer all the questions that you asked earlier, but they're not there for that.
And when we say proven, we mean proof. We mean absolute 100% proof. We're not just telling you this. We're not telling you these people are shilling you. We're saying if you go to the YouTube channel, you go to Mega Coalition, you want to find out how racist In the Matrix is, you'll see it with your own eyes. Okay? So you do that, and then you'll know for sure. You don't have to take my word for it. You don't have to take Smooch Panda's word for it. You don't have to take Mega Coalition's side in this fight. But if you want to know the truth, then you can know the truth. If you want to stay ignorant, that's up to you. We're going to keep hammering you either way. But you can come out of your trance if you want, because the evidence is there. The one thing that the Mega Coalition has on its side is the truth. And that's a fact, right, Jack. And I'm not just saying that. It's a fact.
That's exactly right. That's why we've been able to be as strong and stand on what we've stood on. We have stood on the side of truth every time. Adam and Glenn never came out and tried to weave some fairy tale or lie. What they did do was not bash Anne from the beginning, not bash John Kruger, or let anyone know about how this happened, how this all started. It was months and months. Even when they went on the attack against some of these people, they kept most things under wrap. It's only just now. I mean, Glenn, just like last week, was still dropping information that people did not know. That was, Monday's show about the origins of MAGA Coalition. They never used it as a bashing hammer, even though they knew they were on the side of truth. They kept most of it under wraps. They were not trying to cause a big divide, but that's all they ever did with us. That's all they've ever done with us. And
yeah, they took the high ground, that's for sure. They took the high ground for as long as they could take it. And then after that, they were like, you know what? Full on. We don't care anymore. We're ready to that's when you got nothing to lose. You're like, that's why you guys got to be afraid, because they don't feel like they have any wins. Like Glenn made it very clear. I'm willing to burn down this house to get the truth out. So you came at him, you came at the Mega Coalition, and you tried to wipe those guys out. You stole a bunch of their audience. You tried to grift off the name.
That was all right.
Okay. And then they tried to stay cool because they just wanted to preserve the pack. And then you just wouldn't stop. And we know all about the attacks of 0 Hour. All right. But and here's the great thing. Even 0 Hour is now on the side of Mega Coalition and starting to expose In the Matrix and David Hayes and Pam and all these people. Chiclet and on.
Yep. There's so many that the thing about, that goes into the vindication with 0 Hour, because 0 Hour not only turned on them, he came out and just let it all out. He said, hey, I was a hired gun. He didn't necessarily say it in that terms, but he said it. And he says that they pushed me towards the MAGA Coalition. They sent him the paperwork that was all bullshit, this resignation letter. It was all set up, and they used him, and they probably filled his head with every kind of promise you can think of. But there's too many freaking scamming mouths to feed over there at YVA. So her enforcers, and there was a lot of them. It wasn't just 0. There was Cock G, who was disposed of very quickly.
Hmm.
There was Mike, the felon closer. Let's see who else. There was Gay Vorkia. There was Bob, and we all know Bob became MAGA coalition history. With his rectal scope, uh, literally, and it was a lot of fun. Based Amy. We actually had someone that ran for Senate in California against Dianne Feinstein that was part of Amy's army. And we all know it was Amy's navy. I mean, they needed boats to fish her out of the fucking water. So
Right. Who's the woman that has the record for most suicide
that's
attempts?
Amy.
Okay.
Yeah, the most suiciding attempts. The lackluster swimmer, Crazy Amy.
We have
Yeah,
given her some floaties and
it,
500
right.
painted
So
caps
now
for
you
this.
watch that, you get a little a
Yeah.
better for folks that are brand new to the MAGA coalition, and you see videos like Rex Tillerson disavowing the MAGA coalition, and you see videos like Melania Trump. This is all parody we did based on the bullshit that we were having thrown at us. Like I've been called
Right.
Antifa Panda. Leah was called, Antifa. Several others, Obi. So what did we do? We became Antifa. We took a page right out of Doug Stewart and we became what they said. Not literally, but pictures. I've got a nice Antifa bandana panda. I freaking love it. But we
Uh-huh.
used humor. I think that's one of the strongest weapons, mockery and humor. And it
Yeah.
also kept us laughing in the midst of some of the biggest and greatest attacks against our good name. This whole time knowing that we were on the side of truth.
Hmm.
We have been. And now we're 100% vindicated, and there's nothing sweeter than the QAnon LARP going down and being exposed by this
Hmm.
little super PAC that stuck together and
Hmm.
stood for what was right.
Yeah.
Bravo, MAGA fam. Bravo, man.
Bravo.
Bravo.
Yeah. And for a long time it was just a small core of people, but like I said, I felt like I'm an adopted son. I've been there probably a little longer than some, but nowhere near as long as others. But there's always that core group of people, and what we're seeing now is this family is growing and new people are coming on board and everybody's going in the same direction. And I want to just sort of echo that sentiment. What Adam had said is look, I'm sure that Russia and England and Canada, in the United States, they all had different ideas about who should lead and who should do what. But they were all going after the same target, and that's what we need to do. And that's why I said, that's why I appreciate guys like Merlin DeFango. And if you haven't followed him, please do go over to DeFango TV. He's got two channels. I think one's called Merlin DeFango, and the other one's called DeFango TV, because he does a scope. He'll do a scope once a day, just about what's the breakdown of what's been going on in the Q community. So he's on board. You got I think it's Anti School. Is that what that's called? The Isaac Green one.
Anti-school. Yep, Isaac Green.
So follow this guy. Go and check out his channel. Make sure to check out David Seaman. And I don't agree with everything that every one of these people do,
Of course
but they
not.
have jumped on board. They are going full on against QAnon. They are doing everything they can to expose it. Right? Follow megacoalition.com. Go to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to Smooch Panda in this channel. Subscribe to Obi. Subscribe to 33rulesshow.com. And just keep involved in it and keep retweeting the stuff. And if just find your place in this movement, because I really think with a sustained attack, this is the best opportunity we've had. Like I said, I can go back a year and feeling that feeling of like utter depression, because it's like I feel like there's just so many of these people that they can't hear anything. But now I'm seeing movement. I'm seeing people start to wake up to it. I'm seeing also the momentum of people jumping on to the Mega Coalition family and starting to be a part of it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Those things are so important. You wouldn't think just a simple like and a retweet. Some
Right.
people were scared to
Mm-hmm.
retweet the MAGA coalition. Have no fear. There's not 10,000 Anons coming at you. If there was, who would they be going after? They'd be
Yeah.
going after Gingrich. They'd be going after Guns. They'd be going after myself. They'd be going after Ginger. They'd be going after TJ. They're not
Mm-hmm.
going after any of them because they're not there. They're a fucking illusion. You've got
Yeah.
5 to 10 people with 5 to 10 bot accounts, and they make themselves look like they're more than they are. they're an echo chamber now. And this is my prediction for Q, because I don't think that Q can die as far as just be dead completely.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the grifting patriot, patriot part of it is dying. I think that it's going to die in America. I think in America, only the most hardcore conspiratorial freaking people are going to
Mhm.
hold on to it and will never, never unblind themselves. Never. But
Mhm.
I think that it's going to be a Europe problem. And it's going to be, they're going to take their scam overseas because their money spends just as fast. And I wouldn't be surprised if
Yeah.
grifters in the USA are being hauled up in front of courts for them scamming the people in Britain. I'm already seeing the move. You already see it at Dutch protests in Amsterdam. I've seen it in Britain several times now. It's starting to crop up at the Yellow Vests in Paris. You're starting to see the queue. They're transferring over. It's dying here. And that's, hey, I'm not going to follow it overseas. I'm, I'm not going to, but within our
No.
community and with MAGA, as
Mhm.
it relates to hurting Trump's 2020 chances, I'm all in till the bitter fucking end.
Yeah, and I guess I wanted to make a point. I don't know if you were on this. We did a scope last night, Obi and I. I'll do a scope after the Mega Coalition, it's called the After Party with Spy the Liar. But we had a fellow on there. His name was Sean, and his father has MS, but his father listens to this particular person who is really invested in QAnon, and he's given him his hard-earned money. There are real victims in this, okay? There are people that can't afford it. There are boomers, all right? Even Merlin DeFango, his
That's right.
stepmom was ripped off by Praying Medic, okay? So these scammers go back a long
Personally,
way. And honestly, there are people that are holding out hope against all hope right now, and they're about to get my brothers and sisters in the community, my brothers and sisters in Christ, please come out from among her, my people. Okay, get out of that scam. It's not real. Use your discernment, all right? This is not a victimless crime. People are honestly getting hurt. So I don't want to hear the line like, what does it matter? We're all going to vote for Trump. It matters. It matters because you have the mainstream media is latching onto this, and you know this is going to be part of their strategy. They're reporting it in little drips and drops right now, and they're doing that intentionally so that they can pour the whole glass out right before the election. So it has to be dropped now. You have 14, at least 14 convictions for serious crime, starting wildfires, murder, parking on the Hoover Dam because the guy was like convinced that they were pedophiles and like he was demanding that something get done. You have people breaking into other people's houses. You have this group that went after him. I'm not talking about the church, Christ Church, but there was another two guys that went after um, on a mosque in Minnesota, all in the name of QAnon. Okay, so there are some
oh, I haven't
very
heard that
vulnerable
one.
people. There are some very vulnerable people out there. Okay, they believe it hook, line, and sinker, and they're taking the law into their own hands. And the fact is that QAnon cannot deliver. He cannot deliver on these central promises because there are not going to be military tribunals. All right, there is not. They did not expand Gitmo. All right, if there was suddenly martial law declared and they started scooping people up, what do you think the press would do to Trump? What do you think that would do to Trump? Are
Oh
you
my
kidding me?
God.
Are you kidding me?
It's the
We're going
line
to
in the song that we just did. Fuck our Constitution, let the military handle it all. That's not how this works. That's
no.
fucking Soviet Russia.
Yeah, so there are victims in this, okay? There are real people. And not only that, there's going to be a lot of psychological damage that's going to happen to these people because it is going to come crumbling down. And there's going to be a lot of older people that have put all their heart and soul into believing that there was going to, and I understand the appeal. Trust me when I say this. Nobody wants to see pedophiles and evil people in jail more than me. I've been wanting that in my
I
entire
don't
life.
know.
I've
I
been
might.
fight. Yeah, you might, but I have been fighting against it. I've been pointing it out, all these evils,
Absolutely.
and yes, I feel it. I feel it. Like I hate it. I can't stand injustice. I can't stand when these evil people keep doing it over and over. The Clintons are one of the biggest examples. When they keep breaking the law, it's like they can do no wrong. They just keep getting away with it. It doesn't matter what they do. I feel you guys. I feel your frustration and that desire to believe that Hillary Rodham Clinton is going to get arrested. but that didn't happen. That was one of the very first drops. Huma Abedin is not going to go to jail. John Podesta is not going to go to jail. Do you think we're not aware that there's pedophilia around these areas here? You think we don't understand that? Laura Silby's story
in Idaho,
in Haiti,
my home state.
Yeah, we know they're evil people. We want this, but I'm telling you right now, the lie that you're being sold, okay, it's going to come. That whole house of cards is going to come crashing down, and you're going to be left holding the bag. And you're going to see, if you're going to hold on to this with all this emotion, you're going to feel it so bad, because it's just not going to happen for you the way you think it's going to happen. It's not real. You need to wake up out of your trance. And that's for me, Spy the Liar. I love you guys. I want everybody to get over this. I don't hate any of you. If I'm harsh with you, or if I mock you, or I try to shame you, I'm doing it because you can't hear me. You won't listen to reality. You won't look at the truth. You want to, and this is what, I don't know if you've experienced this or not, Smooch, but you get into a conversation and you point something out and they immediately ignore what you've said and go on to the yeah, but, or they circle away from it completely, and
That's all they do. They will not address it. They will not. They will not. Well, what about the threat assessment group? My God.
I don't even know who that is. Who's this?
Well, the threat assessment group was what Q posted in the first Q drop that led them to Gorka. Because Gorka's LLC name is Threat Assessment Group. But God, it sounds so spooky and scary. And you know, it must be some kind of military op backhanded. Oh my God, look at the last name. It's Gorka. So MAGA Coalition paid Gorka to come out against Q before Q was even posting. It's genius. This super PAC runs the world, and we just don't fucking know it. I'm telling you, it's like the Rothschilds, the freaking Roosevelts or Rockefellers, the MAGA coalitions. They run everything, guys.
Glenn built a time machine. So.
Yeah, he already told us that.
He's that smart. We went back in time. We paid Seb Gorka.
That's funny you say that, because you wouldn't even know, because it was before your time that Glenn actually came out and did that against, because Bill Mitchell was saying that, I'm from the future. That's why I get everything right. Yeah, that theory kind of went.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to talk too much about, I don't want to give that guy airtime.
No, Lord knows he gets enough of
Bill Mitchell.
Yeah, it's good to watch some of these really unscrupulous people that just got in too late, and they're like, oh my God, I got to get my piece of this Q pie before it goes away, and they're going all in, and it's destroying them, their platforms. Bye-bye.
Yeah, did you like that Dilly rant? Wasn't that fantastic?
Which one?
The one with the which one?
Yeah, he's had lots. Oh, the Gorka one?
The Gorka one, yeah.
Yeah, I still want Obi to splice me a couple clips together. The clip when Ann Vandersteel was interviewing that Christian. It wasn't Mark. It was Mark Taylor.
Yes,
that Christian
it was.
sphincter, non-Christian sphincter, Mark Taylor, and telling Mark Taylor that Dilly was a man of God. And then there's a clip of Dilly saying that he is a man of God. And then right there, Gorka can suck my... That's exactly what I want. And I will play that over and over.
You could take it right from that scope where Dilly is freaking out on Christians coming into his room.
Yeah, Mima. Fucking poor Mima.
He's freaking out on Mima.
I don't want any more of your damn Bible verses. Stop sending me Bible verses. I need some clients, y'all.
You're cleaning it up, though, Smooch. You're really cleaning it up, because he was vile. He was very vile with these people. What's what I don't understand. Who is a Dilly fan? I don't get it. Like, what is it? What is it about this guy? Is it because is it like when you have, like you're driving along and there's a car wreck and you shouldn't look, but I just got to see if anybody died. You're looking for the severed arm or something, because I just don't understand this guy's appeal at all.
I think we saved Dilly for last, just simply because he's always going to be there. He's not that dangerous. Yeah. He's pretty fucking stupid.
He's going to shoot himself.
If we get rid of him now, where are we going to get all the extra material for the parody songs of the future?
Yeah.
So
no, he's pure entertainment. He's harmless. He's just pure entertainment.
Buy my spoons, y'all. 'Cause I'm a capitalist.
Buy my vitamins, my $70
That's
B
right.
vitamins.
That's right.
$70. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
he's great. Yeah,
It,
and if anybody want, you need life coach lessons, life coach
that's
lessons.
right.
I
He
can
needs
help
some
you out. You want to
clients.
lose weight? You want to lose weight?
So, Spy, you came in. You Ginger introduced you to
Yeah,
us, and I
yeah.
apologize for that. But I'm glad you're here. I'm kidding. I do jest. Uh,
Oh, okay.
And so, we're at a point now where I noticed that you go over to DeFango's
Yeah,
scopes. I've seen you
yeah,
at the Dank Meme Night on Friday nights, Dank
yeah,
Meme Trading Company, which was
yeah.
fuck man, that was a lot of fun. Other than Jay Anon not letting us get a word in
Right.
edgewise, I thought Anons were quiet, but
Yeah, that.
just giving you hell, Jay. Anyway, I've noticed that you've put forth an effort to coalesce groups
Yeah.
and bring them towards us. Is that what you're feeling? That tell me a little bit about that. Why are you doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. I just feel like that. And I think Glenn echoed it. I recognized right away as soon as I saw DeFango and David Seaman and Isaac Green, as soon as I saw them jumping and I saw the movement, I recognize this is our best chance right now to really have an effect. So my whole goal is to try to get everybody together. One of the things that I really would like to see, and I believe that this is going to happen, and I hope it happens soon too, and that is for the mega coalition to have a telethon where we have on Merlin DeFango, we have on Ginger McQueen, we have Glenn Herman on, we have Adam Gingrich, maybe me, maybe you, maybe Obi, maybe a few other people outside of that, and people that you would normally associate with the family, but just have a long 12-hour show where we raise some money, we raise awareness, we do it for a good cause, we're totally transparent, and just to keep it going. I want as many people. Look, I don't care what your background is. I don't care if you had a fight on a scope 3 months ago. It's time to get over that. It's right now is the time to coalesce around this, to coalesce around the mega coalition, to become part of the family, to do your part. All right, no matter what that is, retweeting or being like Merlin DeFango, and he's doing daily updates, and David Seaman and Anti School, who does it with he does it with a real flair. One of the things I'll say
Yep.
about Anti School, he did this when we did the Into Matrix thing. While that show was while Mega Coalition show was still live, he was taking clips from what we showed. He was going live into the Patriot soapbox, and he was bringing those things together and pointing it all out in real time. And I
Yep.
appreciate that. So this is what I would love to see this happen, to have this big, long telethon, just to
Right.
keep and then find new ideas and just keep it growing from there. So I
It's a great
guess,
idea.
yeah, what's my purpose in all this? I guess that's my purpose, is to try to just keep talking and keep that conversation going, because I've been finding that it seems like I get to have the opportunity to speak with Glenn Herman. I'll speak with him in my scope, or I'll speak with him in 33 Rule scope, or I'll speak to him when you're there in the room, or I'll go on Merlin Fango and Glenn will show up, whatever the case might be. I feel like I have a voice and I get to discuss these ideas and really flesh them out in real time. And I'm really on point. I'm really on point. I want full steam ahead, torpedoes. I want them all in the water, all at the same time, going in the same direction. I want to take down the battleship that is QAnon. I want to blow that thing out of the water so bad. I cannot tell you how bad. And I just feel it in
Do
my
you want
bones.
it like John Edwards bad? Or no, it was Harold Dean, wasn't it? When you're doing
I
that, you got to finish it with ah.
I would, but no, I
Well,
think
I'll
I made
say
my
as
point
far
pretty
as your
clear.
telethon idea, I will
Yeah,
certainly donate several hours of my time to. If it's a
yeah,
12-hour, you're going to need co-hosts to jump
yeah,
in and
yeah.
out. I
Mm-hmm.
will be a part of the entire 12-hour show. Give me a little bit of notice, and we can make that happen. And you bring on,
Yeah.
you mentioned Isaac Green, Anti School. You mentioned DeFango. Uh, I've seen
David
great
Seaman.
clips from Unirock. I've seen
Yeah.
great clips from the channel on YouTube called Glow,
Mm-hmm.
GLOW 2.
Right.
I've also
D-
seen Roosevelt Media. If you haven't been to his
yep.
YouTube channel, that guy has been fighting the QLARP with common sense for over a year, and I will have him on my show. The guy's got a voice that's recognizable, and he doesn't want it recognized. And I'm going to get some voice changing stuff, and it's going to be real cool and spooky, and have him in the back. Yes, I was the one that did it. Yeah, and it's going to be awesome. But that guy has got almost a year's worth of documented bullshit that he has totally dispelled from QAnon. And I'm forgetting. Oh yeah, and Slider Blaze 2. To the Republic app. Doug Stewart. I mean, these guys are doing the Lord's work as far as I'm concerned. And together, we can't be touched.
I think group even together, might do it. Hey,
Carpe, holy crap, man. See, yes, I knew I'd forget people. There's a lot of them out there. And just the regular tweeters and retweeters, or the people that have found their voice, that when a Q-tard comes on their line, they're saying, no, that's not true. I've seen it. I've seen so many people find their voice. I've never been more proud of this MAGA fam, but I've never been more proud of the MAGA movement as a whole, using some common sense and coalescing to destroy this grift and the scourge on. If we don't get a handle on it, 2020 is going to be rough. 2020 is going to be rough, and that's why I wear this tonight. 2020, guys, this is where our focus should be. In order to get here, we have to get rid of the scourge within our own movement. When we get rid of that scourge, we can concentrate on the leftist scourge. You won't see me retweeting Travis View. You won't see me retweeting Will Sommers. I will not. I will go to war with them.
No, I'm going to work with whoever is going in the same direction with me right this minute.
That's right.
I want to work with everybody.
Right now, we have to work with them. But, when Q's gone, the Daily Beast, they're leftists. They're going to go after us. And while they're going after Q, they still got their writers putting out a whole bunch of garbage. So, I will work with a leftist to accomplish a goal. But once that goal is gone, I'm not leftist in any way, shape, or form.
After the war, if you remember what happened, right? We had the Berlin Wall come up, okay? I mean, that's just reality, right? I mean, there are things, again, we are all united in one cause, and that's it, right? And I just like to see, and we've got so much material for a telethon. I mean, we have so much to cover, all the bases that we've covered, all the information that's come out so far. We've got your videos, we've got, you know what I mean? We've got songs, we got parody, we can add humor. We can have different guests with different perspectives.
Oh, we've got actors.
Yes. You start adding in all the different demographics that all these individuals pull in. You know what I mean? Now you're getting a much wider reach. And this is sort of like, I'm just looking down the road. I'm just trying to say, how do we make this as big as possible? And to just keep doing things like that. That doesn't take a lot of effort, right? And I believe right now everybody's on the same page and they'll all want to do it. And that's why I'm really I know it seems like I'm putting a lot of pressure on you, Glenn and Adam, and I don't mean to. You do it in your sweet time, but this is my heart's that's where my heart is. My heart is right now. I want to see if DeFango can go on with Glenn for 8 hours and I have no idea how long. They spoke. That scope was originally 8 hours and 20 minutes or something crazy like that. It's 6 o'clock in the morning and DeFango's like, well, I got to go to bed.
Yeah, exactly. If you guys don't know about that, then you're missing out at MAGAcoalition.com. Every single scope, from Adam's Periscopes to the YouTube shows, they are all cataloged at MAGAcoalition.com. Every parody, there's stuff going back a year or more. There's Ginger calling out YVA's racism and anti-Semitism. There's me calling out the racist and anti-Semitism that we saw and we asked and begged, disavow this shit. Disavow it. Now I see somebody come in the room and says that Ice Wolf is attacking MAGA Coalition because we're all a bunch of Jews. You know what? Ice Wolf, go fuck yourself. You are a cancer on society, period. Anti-Semitism, not cool. Racism, not cool. This is 2019. And what did our president say? There is no room for prejudice. If you open your heart to patriotism, there is no room for prejudice. So prejudice, there's no room in my scopes. Get the fuck out. And if I see you on any MAGA Coalition scope, you're going to get the axe. Debate,
Yeah,
disagree with me about Q, disagree with us. That's fine. You won't get blocked for that. I
yeah,
beg. That's what you were talking about, Glenn. You can talk to Glenn on this scope. You can talk to Glenn on your scope. You can talk to Glenn on 33. You can talk to Adam on your scope. All these people that are going and attacking Q, they're all available to talk about
yeah,
it. They're
yeah.
all willing to look at you and say, "Okay, you were deceived, and let me show you why."
Hmm.
It's the
We're all
ones that won't let
reasonable.
go. They're the ones that are going to
Yeah,
be mocked until they freaking, run away from social media.
yeah. And if ad hominem attacks is all you got, I mean, then you've already lost. If that's all you've got, like you can call us names and you can call us shills, but that's not evidence, and you know it. Okay, you
Exactly.
know that the only reason you do that is because you're lazy and you don't have any evidence. You know the truth isn't on your side anymore. Okay, but what you're experiencing is the first level of grief. Okay, that's called denial. All right, then you're going to move on to anger. Okay, and you'll have some bargaining will be happening there, but eventually you're going to get to that last stage, which is acceptance. So work yourself through that. But any one of us will talk to you. Any one of us will talk to you and have a reasonable conversation. And we'll point out the obvious stuff as long as you're willing to look at it. But if all you got is shill, you're a loser. What? That's it. Name calling. That's your trump card.
Right.
It's
Just like QAnon's trump card was research done by Brian Cates in August. That didn't hit. He hit us with it then, and it didn't hit us because it was all bullshit. And so they
right,
thought, oh, we'll do it as QAnon, and
right.
that'll make the difference.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and once
all you
again,
guys did was prove
I'm
it.
I'm asking everybody out there, everybody that doesn't believe that thinks QAnon is real. Have you done any research into the Mega Coalition? Have you found anything? Have you even bothered to look? Because if you look, you won't find anything. So then you have to ask yourself, what was this super intelligence agent working next to Trump doing, focusing on the mega coalition when there's nothing there to see? Why
Right.
do you have why is it that you're going after Seb Gorka? Well, because Seb Gorka is calling you cancer, but yet Donald Jr. is going on his show, and Donald Jr. is saying that he's one of Trump's biggest supporters. So,
Right.
are you now gonna turn on Donald Trump Jr.? Like this
You
doesn't
nailed
make
it.
any sense. You start to add this stuff up. Go back, okay? Go back and look at all the things that Q said. I went back just a little while ago. I feel so bad for Adam because that guy went and he read the entire thing. But I went back and I just looked.
Yeah, poor guy.
I went back and I looked at the first 50, and you'd be amazed. Like you probably don't even remember what those first 50 say, but you look back and you go, that didn't happen, that didn't happen, that, and
Right.
we're talking very specific things. Okay.
The style of
And
writing has changed
and
dramatically.
just saying it's disinformation is necessary just doesn't cut it, folks.
Yeah, I think Big
It
Fish
doesn't
just
cut
said
it.
it. Disinformation is necessary because I need your money.
Yeah,
I
I
need your
need your
check.
money. Now, okay, now here's another challenge I have for you. Have you heard me or Smooch or Mega Coalition ask for any cash? Have you? Can you look on my Periscope and see a button that says you can donate to me? Do you see it anywhere?
Not
I
in my
don't.
scope.
You could if you want to go to the Mega Coalition and buy a T-shirt, you can do that. But we're not
Absolutely.
asking. No one's asking you to
Buffering.
do it.
Get your
Yeah,
Man
no,
of God shirts. Dildo scammons.
right. But that's
I
just
can
like parody
shill
stuff.
too.
But my point is you will not see us doing that now.
Right.
You can go on to the Patriot Soapbox. You can go on to Praying Medic. You can go on to In the Matrix, and you take a look, all right, at how many people are giving them money. You start to add those numbers up. I'm going to tell you the average Patreon gives $20 every month. So if you have 900 Patreons, how much are you making a month just from that one source?
Yep.
$18,000 from one source. Are you telling me this isn't for the money? Isn't that enough motivation to keep this scam going for
Oh,
people to
yes.
lie to you? Isn't thousands of dollars a month? Or are they doing it out of the goodness of their heart? Because we're not making any cash. You call us the paid shills. Show us where we're getting paid. Honestly, if you think Mossad is paying me money, you're out of your freaking mind. You really are. If you
Yeah.
think this is a coordinated effort, we've got history, okay, with Praying Medic. We've got history with Ann Vandersteel. We've got history with Bill Mitchell and YVA. And all this stuff is a grudge, and you can see it,
You
okay?
can, and it's being exposed, and I'm happy. I'm very
Yeah.
happy about that because throughout all of it, if you know, you can believe that there are people out there trying to research this. That you can believe when those drops came, they were like, "Oh my God, we finally got those bastards!" Not one person has come forth with any evidence. None. Not one. Not one. How
But I
many?
can
Not one. I
zero
should have
this
put the
many.
dilly clip up right there. Not one.
Donut.
Exactly. Not
Yeah.
one. Well,
But I can
Spy,
point.
this is it's been freaking awesome. I'm gonna let you, if you got anything else on your brain, just spit it out there. And you know, I appreciate you coming on the show tonight. We've gone almost 2 hours already,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a great thing. But I don't want to ride the dead horse as much
Thank you so
longer.
much. Yeah, we're
We're
starting
gonna
to get
do
a little
this
bit.
again if you'll come back on the show.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely love to.
if you guys haven't checked out Spy the Liar on Periscope, he's been doing shows just about every evening. He does the audio only where you can call in type show, and he's
Mm-hmm.
been more than gracious on letting
Mm-hmm.
just about anybody who wants to come in, come in. If you want to
Mm-hmm.
debate, this guy has got an open forum for you, as long as
Mm-hmm.
you're respectful and you're not racist in any way. That's
Right.
big. MAGAcoalition.com. Check it out. This
Yeah.
entire, everything we talked about tonight, the evidence is right there at MAGAcoalition.com. It's at my channels on YouTube, Smooch
Mm-hmm.
Panda. Check that out. All the songs, all the fun that we have
Yep.
done. And I just put as a matter of fact, what I'm going to do to end the show is I'm going to have Spy the Liar in the background singing some beautiful Rush songs to us, and
Thank
I'm
you.
going to I'm gonna, yeah, that's how I'll end it. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna play the video that I put together, a little 2-minute collage of the MAGA Coalition fam, and then we will be played out to the soft sounds of Spy the Liar. But Spy, take as much time as you want. The floor is yours right now, man. Anything that you didn't get to get out there, anything you want to say to the fam?
Well, I got to hash out everything, but I just say, let's support each other. If you're a person who likes to pray, I like to pray. Pray for the Mega Coalition. Pray for the family. Keep us all in prayer. Follow Merlin DeFango, Doug Stewart. Follow Smooch Panda, Adam Gingrich, New York City Guns. You can follow me at Spy the Liar on Twitter, as a matter of, and keep your eyes open for our scopes and our YouTubes, and I just want to thank you, Smooch, and I want to thank our family and for everybody that's been. This family is really loving, and they have embraced me, and I really appreciate it. And there's no scam going on here. We're just here, we just want to get the truth out. We want to bring down Q, and that's pretty much it. Just a thank you again for having me on your show, sir.
Oh, absolutely, and I sure appreciate you coming, no doubt.
All right,
That was you did fantastic, Wayne. I'm gonna go ahead
thank
and
you.
what I'll do is I'll mute you and get you off the screen. And if
Sweet,
you want to hang out for a minute on the Zoom, I'll come back and we can chat after the show for a minute.
sounds good.
All right.
All right, take care.
You too, man. Thanks for coming on the show. This was a really good show, and I appreciate it. All right, fam. I'll go ahead and pull up this video, a little shopping that I put together. And then we will hear the soft sounds of Rush, sung by Wayne, Spy the Liar. Appreciate everybody coming in tonight on this Monday night. Stay tuned. I have a feeling that this week will not be quiet, even though I'm starting to hear the rumbles. I'm starting to hear the rumors. And I'm starting to see the hashtags, guys. Hashtag, where is Q? Hashtag, proof of life for Q. So push those hashtags. Hashtag Q Slayers. Hashtag where's Q? Hashtag proof of life. We're worried about him. We got to know where he's at. And you can already see people putting out fake ones that even Medic had to come out. This is a fake post. Nobody give this guy any money because I did not release the post. I mean, Q did not release the post. Yeah, it's been quite fun to watch the chaos that is. I mean, when the 24/7 Patriot Soapbox channel goes down for 19 hours in a day, ooh, there might be something going on. there just might be something going on. Also, I was going through some old footage because I'm putting together a new intro for my show. And I need lots of clips in order to make this happen. I was a little bit late because I thought I could get it done for this show, but there was just no way in hell. But while I was doing that, I'd seen my Montana scope from Great Falls, Montana when Trump came. My first rally seeing our president. And QAnon, it was the first rally that I started seeing QAnon people being vocal and actually going up to everybody who was waiting in line. Hey, have you heard of Q? Hey, Q's with Trump. Have you heard of Q? And I found I actually had interviewed briefly Dead Cat from the Patriot Soapbox. So I will put that brief 1.5-minute video on my YouTube channel in a bit. But it's interesting because it kind of shows right after that rally was the Florida rally, where MSM suddenly became aware of Q. And we all know about the groups of people that were sending people in Q shirts and hats and signs and posters to the Florida rally. I think my theory is this proves that Patriot Soapbox was working with the people working in Florida, and this was all part of the setup. This guy Dead Cat's out of Oregon. It's not that far. And he came decked out in full-on Q gear, which you will see while he was pimping his Patriot Soapbox on my quick short interview. So you guys will enjoy that, I believe. This is my answer to the people who always say, who is the MAGA coalition? These people here are the MAGA coalition family. And of course, you know I had to throw in just a little bit of buffering. I'm probably going to get play out of that for the rest of my life. Yes, Space Chica, you do. And I found some pictures of you from the Atlanta MAGA meetup, but by that time, let's just say my arms weren't steady enough to actually get a clear, not fuzzy shot. So therefore, Jen, send them to me. I think she takes pride in never getting her picture took. She's just like April. You two are just alike in that. Just alike. All right, guys, I sure appreciate everybody coming in for this episode of Pandamonium. Was that not a great show? Is Spy the Liar not a hidden gem? A diamond that has been hidden in the rough. Great guy. Check him out. Spy the Liar Periscope channel. And at his Twitter feed at Spy the Liar. We're going to get you over $1,000 tonight, hopefully. Anyway, I appreciate you guys coming in. There will be more shows. I can't tell you when because they happen unexpectedly. Just whenever I can. So we will be coming at you real soon. I'm going to play you out with the soft sounds of the Rush tribute band, the Rush Experience. Yeah, I've got that on the right one. By Spy the Liar. Who knew we had this kind of musical talent in this fam? Thanks, guys. Love you all. Keep up the good work. Q Slayers unite!
Freeze
my drummer's name is Gary Guzman.
Noise!